give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkin Show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I am that dude, Bodkins. Again, coming to you from a remote location of the hotel room as I out here in Bolivar. So be back home tomorrow. So on Sunday's show, we got we'll have some new guests that were coming in. Last Sunday show didn't go as planned, but hey, Sunday's just locked in. We'll have that guest for you when before we leave tonight, because I have to look it up. I can't remember the name. Bad Coast. But anyway, guy whose names I always know, always joining me on these Thursday show, my brother from another mother, Johnny Cruz. Johnny, what is up, my friend?
What is going on, man? Been looking forward to this show, man. A lot of stuff to talk about, man.
It is Thursday. It is where we're just going to talk what's been going on in the world. Of course, we always start with the NFL because, well, that's what makes the bread and butter these days.
Yes,
Johnny, I mean, let's start hottest subject right now, Lamar Jackson. The Ravens tag Lamar. It seems like teams are saying, hey, we're still not going after him. What's going on here? What's your thoughts on this whole situation with Lamar?
I think he honestly messed up, bro. I think he should have took that money when he had the opportunity to get guaranteed money. He bet on himself, and which is fine. But in football, when you play the position the way he plays the position, you put yourself in harm's way more often than not. And he got hurt, so now, you know what I'm saying, that's a lot of money that he's asking for guarantees. And not only the Ravens, but it doesn't look like anybody's trying to give him $200+ million guaranteed. And apparently that's what he's wanting. So it's a crazy situation. You kind of figure Baltimore would have to do this. And then if he's, you know, if somebody gives him the money out there, then I guess Baltimore gets 2 first-round picks, which they ain't gonna cry about.
Or the right to match. The right to match.
Right. But I think the number, you know what I'm saying? I think they have their number in their head already. So if somebody, you know, blows them out of the water, I think the Ravens gonna be like deuces, you know what I'm saying? And just keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah.
We've talked the Lamar thing before, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, They didn't develop him right, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a fresh start is something that needs to happen, or maybe they could make it work with the new coordinator or whatever. But I don't think Baltimore is really in any lose type of situation. Honestly, they're straight win-win. Either they get the 2 picks and whatever, or they get Lamar for 1 more year.
Yeah, I like this move for the Ravens. Personally, the Ravens are doing smart business. Like Lamar's obviously, I don't think he wants this fully guaranteed contract. He wants the Deshaun Watson type money and that fully guaranteed contract. The problem is every owner, when that deal was made, they all hated it. Said we're not giving out fully guaranteed contracts. Not happening. Not in this league. Not, you know, so they're going to, I think they're concluding and saying, you know, hey, nobody give Lamar this money. Like, if we do it for him, then what's the next guy going to want? What's Patty Mahomes going to want? What's Joe Burrow going to get? If you're the Bengals, I'm hurrying up and trying to get Joe Burrow's extension done, because what Lamar gets is going to reset the market. I mean, I get it, and everybody says he's MVP. It's been 3 years since that MVP season. He hasn't played a full season in over 3 years either. So he's only played about 50% of his games that he's been eligible, I believe somebody said, or right around there, maybe 75%. But he's missed a lot of games. So I think if I'm the Ravens, you're saying, hey, Lamar, go out, see what you're worth in the market, and they can still match it. And then they can say, hey, we told you so. Nobody was going to give you this guaranteed money. So, yeah, you know, like, I mean, and they can just match it. That's my whole take on this Lamar situation.
Yeah, like I said, I completely agree with that. Baltimore has, you know what I'm saying, kind of full control of the matter. They can't lose either way. Either he comes back, and like I said, hopefully the new coordinator is able to develop him a little more, and they win games, and then they eventually, you know, give him an extension. Because if you don't find nothing out there, like you said, they're basically going to be like, all right, we told you. So here, go ahead and sign this. You know what I'm saying? And get your, you know, Danny Dimes just got 40, you know what I'm saying, 160, but not all of it is guaranteed, but still he's getting 40 a year. So they're gonna have to at least give Lamar, he's gonna want at least 40, and that's probably what we don't know exactly what they were offering him, do we?
It was quite a bit. I think close to.
Obviously, it wasn't 230 like Deshaun.
Yeah,
it was a big number.
He wants it. He just wants it fully guaranteed. Yeah, and that's the problem.
All right. Yeah, no, like you said, all the other owners was looking at the Browns on like, seriously, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to make it fully guaranteed. Because no owner was happy about that, bro. They ain't trying to have to do that.
And that's the thing. So like now everybody, I think do you think these teams, everybody, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Colts, these teams that need a quarterback, do you think that they're saying they're really not interested in Lamar? Like, shouldn't he have a bunch of suitors?
Well, I mean, the thing is that like we're saying, that you have to tailor your whole offense to Lamar. Like I said, unless you're gonna basically, slowly kind of develop him and see what happens the first couple of years. But if you're gonna pay somebody $40 million a year, it's because you want to win ball games right away. Will he be able to run a different type of offense with no problem? You know what I'm saying? You don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you're risking that as well. You know what I'm saying? If you give him all that money. So I don't know, man. I don't see anybody giving up the 2 first-round picks and then paying him, $140+ million a year. I don't see anybody else doing that. I think it's Baltimore or he's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, somebody might get desperate if your boy would just retire or stay with the Packers instead of this whole Jet shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather Lamar be with the Jets than Aaron freaking Rodgers. For real.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll talk about that in a minute. My last quick, I think Lamar needs on the last to kind of end Lamar part. I think he needs an agent. He's trying to do it on himself. And with his mom. I mean, if you don't have an agent, you better have the smartest lawyer in the world. Like get somebody to help negotiate these deals, and to maybe leak some information about you, because all we're getting is all negative side because you're not leaking. You know what I mean? These agents leak a lot of things out. They make sure. So like if you had an agent, I think that it would be vice versa. It would be leaked out that there are 6 to 7 teams interested in bringing them in.
Right. Not only that, but I think if he had an agent this whole time, I think, like you said, the MVP was a few years ago. So I think if he had an agent, he would have already gotten that extension after his 3rd season, because I think that's the year right after he got the MVP. So if he had an agent, that would have been the time to negotiate and just, you know what I'm saying? But if you're stuck on this whole, well, I got to have 231 because Deshaun has 230, then that's just, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. That's just you overkicked it, you know what I'm saying? You overkicked your coverage, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They called you on it.
Yeah, you mentioned Danny Dimes. He got the deal today. Danny Dimes is the only player I saw the stat today that was sent to me. Is the only player in like his first 4 years he's played more games than he's thrown touchdown passes per season. So I mean, let me
That's a crazy stat, bro. That's a crazy stat, bro.
So do you think here it is. Here's the stat. Here it is. Daniel Jones is the only QB in the modern passing era to play 10-plus games for 3 consecutive years and throw fewer touchdowns than games played every year. 2020, so this he played 14 games, 11 passing touchdowns. 2021, 11 games played, 10 passing touchdowns. 2022, 16 games played, 15 passing touchdowns. So they just paid this man $40 million. Johnny, what's your thoughts on them bringing back Danny Dimes?
Those are some incredible stats. Like I've heard the lack of production because I listen to a lot of New York radio stuff, and they talked, but no, I didn't hear any New Yorker throw out that stat like that from all the news. You know, what I'm saying the New York sports news that I've been listening to. So that's wild, dude. That's the market. That's the thing about it is, you know, what I'm saying, like. If there's an owner that's going to pay it, they're going to, you know what I'm saying? The quarterbacks are just going to keep on making this money. And if you ain't got one, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think Dak Prescott deserved, you know, say the money he got when he got his contract. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Besides Patrick Mahomes, Josh, you know what I'm saying? Besides those guys, you know what I'm saying? These second tier and possibly third tier guys are you know, and fourth tier guys, possibly with Daniel Jones, are getting that killer money, you know what I'm saying, because of the position. They're desperate for a quarterback. So, you know what I'm saying? That's part of, you know what I'm saying, as much as some Dolphin fans don't want to hear it. That's a big part of why Tua's still in Miami. You know what I'm saying? That's that rookie deal. You know what I'm saying? So teams are trying to get a quarterback any which way they can. So if they got a halfway decent one, they're gonna pay him now.
Yeah, I don't think I don't like when people say they overpaid. You're worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you. You know what I mean? Like, so they paid him that. And here's the thing: who else are they gonna go get that's really any better in this market? They're in a win now mode. Everybody else that they can go get, they're gonna have to pay that same type of money. And guess what? They're pretty much Danny Dimes type player. Like they're not gonna be able to go out and get an elite quarterback. Like those guys aren't there. And they drafted too late this year to try to draft a new one.
Right.
We have a kind of a win now type mode. Like, why don't you build the team around Danny Dimes or with him and Saquon? Let's see what the kid can do if you get him some weapons. That'll take away all the excuses after that.
Right, and that was the best thing for the Giants to do, because now they could tag Saquon like they did, and it's only $10 million, something like that, a little over $10 million, and he wants a contract, so that's just goes to show. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know the running back position is undervalued, but for Danny Dimes to have more games played than touchdowns, and he's making $40 million a year, that's insane, bro. But like I said, you know what I'm saying? You said the market is what the market is, and if that's what owners are paying right now, they're going to keep making that until the owners decide to, you know what I'm saying? All right, now we're putting a cap over how much a player can make per year, which I don't know that you can do that because the league is making so much money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But guys are going to make that much money because the elite dudes are going to keep making the money go up. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are eating off the backs of other, you know what I'm saying, other players, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Geno Smith got a new deal in Seattle, 3-year deal. Who plays out their deal first? Like, as far as like doesn't get replaced, Danny Dimes or Geno?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna say Danny Dimes. I mean, they gave him the 4-year 160. I think I think if Pete Carroll's there and they find a quarterback in the draft that they like, or some, even if it's in the later rounds, or somebody they think they can develop. You know what I'm saying? That's only 3 years. They could probably get out of it after 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I will go with Daniel Jones. I think they're about the same age. Daniel Jones might actually be even younger. But I think there's more to work with Daniel Jones, not for nothing. And I think if Brian Daboll likes him and thinks he could develop him, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the going rate right now. Hopefully you would think, you saw he played better with better coaching. If he can get him a receiver, bro, actually get him a weapon besides Saquon. You know what I mean? And then maybe that touchdown number will go up. You know what I'm saying? So there's somebody which I'm surprised they're not in the D-Hop market.
I'm sure they'll try to be. They'll have to try to get that.
Like there's so much talk about, you know what I'm saying, Odell Beckham. Like they don't even know what he's gonna come back like. You know what I'm saying? Second or third surgery already.
Like an ACL surgery.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is he going to be the same dude when he comes back? I don't know. So it's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Danny will outlast Geno. I think Geno's replaced shorter. It is a 3-year deal. I think that the kid from Florida, what's his name, Richardson, the quarterback, that's the perfect landing spot for him. He can sit behind Geno for at least a year or two, at least a year, and they can draft him at 4. They can get a good look at him and kind of see what he is, because we see him. The kid's a freak of nature as far as athletic ability. So then you let him get underneath Pete Carroll and everybody else.
Right. You definitely got to get a good quarterbacks coach for him, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if you could develop that kid, you definitely got something there. Because like you said, the athleticism is crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's fast as hell. He's got a cannon, bro. So.
Yeah, and we talked about Danny Dimes getting his deal. Derek Carr got his deal with the Saints as well. Does this make the Saints with Derek Carr right now? I mean, we still got a lot of offseason. To me, that makes them the number one team in the AFC NFC South. But like Jonathan Grisham, he was on Buffoon and Bodkins. He kind of said like Derek Carr doesn't make us a Super Bowl contender. He was under the notion as a Saints fan to tear it all down and rebuild. But what does this do for the Saints with bringing in Derek Carr?
I mean, I kind of agree with John. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they should win the division, but you know what I'm saying? I don't see them winning a Super Bowl. I don't see them getting past San Francisco. Depending on what happens with your Packers, Dallas, the Giants, if they keep on developing their guys and they draft well. So Philly is gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens with Seattle, the Rams. Like there's gonna be a lot of good teams. You know what I'm saying? Like they should win the South, like you said. I mean, unless the Desmond Ridder kid surprises us and has a good year, they got some good pieces there. You know what I'm saying? If they draft a couple more, that guy likes to run the ball. That coach likes to run the ball, play good defense. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they could win the division and host a playoff game. I don't see them winning no Super Bowl just because of Derek Carr. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not for nothing, if he would have went to the Jets, that team is ready to go. That's what's scary about, the other dude.
We'll talk about
it. You know what I'm saying? The Saints don't have that type of squad.
Let's go ahead and talk about it. You keep mentioning my guy Aaron to the Jets. I mean, I am not ready for this. It's Brett Favre 2.0. Is it not? Is it? I mean,
I was hoping subconsciously, well, actually, just straight up hoping that he wouldn't want to be in the same exact footsteps as Brett Favre. But I mean, that's a good squad, and it's got the coach that he knows and stuff. So it's just. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everyone's talking about
I don't understand the Jets. I don't understand going to the AFC. I think it's an easier route to get to the Super Bowl going through the NFC. What team is dangerous in the NFC? The Eagles. That's it. Well, they just lost their two coordinators. They could be losing both their tackles and their running back. Like you're telling me that the Packers with Aaron Rodgers again can't go make a deep run, or if he was on a different team on the NFC can't make a deep run. Like, why go to the AFC when you're going to have to go through the gauntlet of all teams? You got the Chiefs, you got the Chargers with Herbert. You have who knows what happens with Lamar. You got Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Yeah,
right. Josh Allen. You still got
Josh Allen and the Bills. The kid down in Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. Like like where do they fit? And then like you don't even who knows what's happening with the Dolphins. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
And that so like where does he think that this is a good fit? I don't know. If I'm him, I'm saying, hey, I'm just going to go back to Green Bay and let's run this thing back. Let's add another player too and see if we can't make a run here.
I agree, and I hope that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? I hope he stays with the Packers, but I could see the temptation in going to New York. They got a really, really good team. That defense is top 5. That's a championship defense they have already, and they're only going to get better because they're all young as hell. You know what I'm saying? And you've got some pieces on the offensive side. If Breece Hall comes back healthy, if they could tinker with that line a little more.
Garrett Wilson, they got
Wilson. They got, you know what I'm saying? They got some weapons there with Brett Favre. That's a scary freaking thought. So I'm hoping he does go to Green Bay. He could take it as, you know what I'm saying? All right, that's the best batch of quarterbacks this generation. All right, I'm gonna go to that, you know what I'm saying, that conference and see who could win it. He may look at it that way, you know what I'm saying? Like if he goes to the freaking Jets and they went on to win a Super Bowl the next year or two, you know what I'm saying? That's ultimate mic drop, and just walk away from the league like, well, I beat all y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that. The incentive is there. I don't know, man. I do think it's before this week, I thought it was 60-40 play retirement. Now I think it's 60 he goes to the Jets, 40 he returns back to the Packers.
Yeah, he definitely ain't retiring. He's playing. It's just where is he playing? Is he playing in the Meadowlands or is he playing in Lambeau? And I'm hoping that he's playing up in Wisconsin, bro, for real. You know what I'm saying? Because the Jets, like Dan is saying, the Jets got a squad, bro.
So we got a comment here. Dan saying, great show, guys. Not to worry, you and Johnny Scott done 4 shows this week. You done 2. Just saying there's a new King of Town. Also, Nick, the guest is called The Rec Room Podcast. Thanks, Dan. That's who will be Sunday's guest. So tune in for that. Looks like we're going to go about 8:30 Central, hopefully. So
Nice.
the Rec Room
Yes.
podcast join us this Sunday. So let's switch gears here from football. Talk a little bit John Morant situation here. What's your take on this kid? My feeling is, I mean, let's start. Look, for context, it's not just one incident. This kid's had 3 or 4 incidents in the last 2 weeks. It was reported this summer he beat up a 17-year-old kid and threw it, like showed him his pistol. Then it was his mom was having trouble at the Foot Locker, and she calls baby boy, and he rolls up with 8 of his homies. And then there was some sort of incident. He had like a red dot on the Indiana Pacer training staff or something. And then yes, and then it's this latest one where he's in the IG in Denver, and he flashes a little gun on his Instagram. And then now he's in trouble. He's taken a mental leave of absence for now. And then the league could suspend him up to 50 games because it's reported that he probably had that gun, because that video was taken in Denver, which means he had the gun on the team plane, which is prohibited, obviously, from the Gilbert Arenas days. So somebody in Jaw's inner circle, during this leave of absence, it needs to sit him down, and they need to talk to this young man and say, sir, hey, you got to put the gun up. You got to start acting like you got some sense, and that you want to be an NBA player and make lots of money, because you can get generational wealth. You're a generational type talent, but you'd rather be a fake ass gangbanger, halfway crook, instead of being an NBA player. And this guy's not from the streets, Johnny.
Right. Like the first thought that went in my head when you first started talking about all the different things, because what I'm saying, I knew some of them. I didn't know all of them detailed like that. Like the first thing that went through my head is I'm worried about this kid. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not a good place to be, where you feel you got to be flashing a gun, and you know what I'm saying, especially come on, if you're just being all fake about it, that's just being stupid then. You know what I mean? But if you are like doing stuff with that, you know what I'm saying, then maybe you do need mental health days, and hopefully, like you said, somebody in his inner circle can get him to understand that it's not just a basketball thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're throwing your life away. You know what I'm saying? What I'm sure you know what I'm saying, unless you got permits for everything, you can't be taking guns across borders to different states. I mean, I don't know how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, I mean, seriously, are you that immature and knuckleheadish to do shit like that? Or is there a problem? You know what I'm saying? And if there's a problem, then seek whatever help you need, you know what I'm saying, to get it corrected. You know what I'm saying? Not just for basketball, but for yourself, bro.
It's both. It is a problem, because once, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And now we're here to the 4th incident. Like at this point, like the first time I heard about it, I said, oh man, I hope that's not true about the kid. And then it just seems like this last week or so that it's just been story after story of him doing knucklehead shit. At some point, like that's who you are. That's your personality. You're trying to put on this, I don't know, like this hardcore gangster persona. Ask a lot of guys, it doesn't work out for you, that you can't be a gangster, a gangbanger, and be in the NBA. It doesn't work out that way.
No, it doesn't work out with being a gangbanger and trying to be anything else. You know what I'm saying? To be quite honest, you know what I'm saying, if you're really from those streets. So, you know what I'm saying? Just like I said, I hope he gets the help that he needs, you know what I'm saying? Because it's unfortunate. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It seems like every week we're having a talk about some kid doing something dumb or immature or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And no, it's nowhere near as bad as the last incident we talked about, because nobody lost their life, but still, you know what I'm saying? You flashing a gun, doing some stupid shit, beating up on a kid, basically, you know what I'm saying? When, like you said, not only, you know what I'm saying, are you putting yourself in harm's way and possibly hurting somebody else, but, you know what I'm saying, like you said, you got an opportunity for generational wealth forever, and playing a game that you supposedly love so much. You know what I'm saying? You balling, bro, and you getting paid. Stop with the stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it's all just an act or whatever. Like, damn, bro, like, seriously? But like I said, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of those. If somebody says anything about mental health, like you know what I'm saying, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt and just hope that they can get whatever help they need to help them get past this. Because besides wanting the kid to be okay, like he's hella fun to watch play ball, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He
Like
is.
he's special, man. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he gets his head screwed on straight, and we can enjoy him having a long, long career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think somebody needs to sit that team down. It sounded like they had a big team meeting with Steven Adams kind of being the vocal guy in the locker room and kind of sat down a lot of those kids, Dylan Brooks and a couple of those guys. I just think they're these hardcore kids, and like it's not Ja definitely is it like if you look into Ja's background, it's totally not any of those things that he is not from the he's not Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson grew up in the real streets in the real ghetto of Virginia. And was able to come out of that. So I don't know if maybe that's who he's trying to be. I don't know.
Be him on the court, bro.
Yes, exactly.
Be him on the court. Don't worry about
it. Somebody needs to pull, like I said, somebody in his group needs to pull him aside and say, hey, we got to buckle down and get serious about life real fast, real quick, because you're going to lose out on sponsorships. You're going to lose out on a lot of money. Yeah. You can't be there for your teammates, and then when your contract ends, then it's going to be some real problems and real issues.
Yeah, because now the league has, you know what I'm saying, or the team has that to use against you when they go to negotiate. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's like I said, I'm worried about the kid. You know what I'm saying? Like it's obviously a pattern of bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, fool me once, but this is 4 times. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't get it, man. Like this shit is just so unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, what thrill are you getting out of that by trying to act like you hard and shit? You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of come on, man. The worst thing that's gonna happen is a possible accident and somebody gets shot. Or
you shoot yourself.
Or you shoot yourself like
Mexico did.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You wind up shooting your own ass.
Hey, staying in the NBA last night, Durant gets hurt, rolls his ankle on warm-ups. He's missing 2 to 3 weeks. And Doncic, he got his MRI, came back clean. He's day to day. Which team needs their superstar to kind of come back quicker? I feel like it's the Mavericks, right? Because they're still trying to figure it out with him and Kyrie.
I absolutely agree with you on that one. It's Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Booker is still on Phoenix. Chris Paul is still on Phoenix. Ayton is still on Phoenix. They still got the same coach. You know what I'm saying? Phoenix is a good squad that got themselves a phenomenal player. Luka is Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Kyrie's there, and they got some couple pieces, but Luka's the team. So it just sucks that we're getting so close to the end of the season, and we're talking about injuries and knucklehead behavior that could have guys not be playing when the time comes for the playoffs. So that sucks. So hopefully people get healthy. But yeah, it's Dallas, bro, 110%. Phoenix can still win with games. Dallas, I don't know now.
Yeah. Also, speaking of injuries, Lonzo Ball could be getting his 3rd knee worked on, which would put him out more time for this young kid. I just want to say this. I think I've read this and I've heard this multiple places. It's because kids are playing so much AAU basketball all the time, almost 24/7. They're not playing a lot of other sports, and that's why we're seeing a lot of injuries happen to them repeatedly because of the knees, the ACLs, because your body's taking so much damage, and then by the time you're 22, 23. Then it's given out because you've played basketball, made those same cuts the whole time, or you were growing and still you never let your bones rest.
Nah, I'm a true believer in the more sports you play, the better off you are as far as, trying to avoid injuries, because you're doing different kind of motions. Like I mentioned this the other day. Shout out to Dan Carubia. He was with me on the Johnny Cruz show Mondays at 8 p.m. On Let's Talk Sports. We talked about playing multiples both from up north. So, you know what I'm saying, we played whatever the season, you know what I'm saying? In the winter, you played football, and then, or in the fall, you played football. In the winter, you played basketball. And in the spring, you played baseball. In the summer, you played whatever, you know what I'm saying, you felt like playing. You know what I mean? But, they start specializing these kids at 10, 11, 12 years old to just be doing the same thing over and over and over and over again because they just want to get to the league as quickly as possible. I mean, their bodies are still growing, and they're, like you said, they're doing the same motions all the time, jumping up and down those knees, ankles, and stuff like that. Yeah, that that's, I don't like the specialized pitchers that they try to do with these young kids, trying to make them, be professional pitchers. So you don't let them play anything else, but they're pitching, 10 months out the year in some states, if not more than that.
Yeah. Let's switch gears. I want to ask you about this World Baseball Classic. Have you got a chance to look at any of it as it's getting ready to kick out? And do you have a favorite to win it?
I mean,
who do you root for? You rooting for USA or you rooting for Puerto Rico?
Well, I'm rooting for whichever one of those two win. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's the way I see it, to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the WBC. I mean, I might watch a game or two, you know what I'm saying, or the final or something, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But nah, I don't like where it's at. I wish they would put it at the end of the season. But you got so many guys from teams going into playing this. I mean, it's fun. It's good for the spreading the. But baseball's played all over the world already anyway. So I see trying to make some kind of a tournament, and you know what I'm saying, people get all into it or whatever, but it's not the Olympics, so it's not the same. And you know what I'm saying, like I said, if they did it at the end of the year, where you know what I'm saying, like 2 weeks after the World Series, you come down to Florida and play in Florida or in Arizona or some shit like that, and you have, you know what I'm saying, and then make it an event, you can actually take some time, a little bit of time away from the NFL, you know what I'm saying, so that they're not talking 22 days straight about where Aaron Rodgers is going or what's going on with Tua's brain. They can be talking about this World Baseball Classic, but it's not interfering with the actual baseball season. You know what I mean? But
I got
it. America or Puerto Rico, I'm good.
Hey, all right. We did a whole 10-team breakdown on Buffoon and Bodkin, so check that out. We went through the power rankings and talked about each team. So
definitely check that out. Yep.
Yeah, check that out. It happened Monday night. You got to witness the greatness that is Jon Jones on Saturday night. You said you were getting back into the UFC. You were excited about the fight card. What was your thoughts from your perspective? Let's start with Jon Jones' fight first.
Well, that reminded me big time of back in the day when I was a kid, a Tyson fight. You know what I'm saying? Don't get up and go get something to drink when that bell rings, because it could be over before you open the fridge. You know what I mean? So it was kind of quick, but that's who he is. You know what I'm saying? He's, you call him the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He didn't mess around, bro. He got that over with as quickly as he could. And if he's gonna take it serious and dedicate himself to being, the greatest heavyweight or whatever, then you know what I'm saying, it should be an interesting, you know what I'm saying, next few months, years, you know what I'm saying, with him fighting, because I know you said he got somebody lined up already. That should be a hell of a match. But that women's match right before the main event was stupid entertaining, bro. That was a lot of fun. And I'm like, I've never, and even that fight, it was just like not, I don't want to say weird, because I don't want it to come out the wrong way. It's hard for me to like see girls just beating the shit out of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like guys, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We've been seeing that for boxing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they're so skilled, and it's awesome. And you know what I'm saying? Props to them for, you know what I'm saying, they got, you know what I'm saying, they're tougher than I am. I ain't getting in that damn octagon. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, once you get past that, man, that was a great fight. But nah, Jones was just, that was quick, man. I wish I could have gotten a full round.
Right. I think do you think Gon, like, was the moment was just too big for him? Like, I mean, he didn't even get off a punt, one nut shot on an accident. It's about all he did. After that, it was a wrap. Was the moment too big? Because this is Gon's second time, third time in a title fight. He won the interim and then lost to Francis and now Jon Jones. Did the moment just get too big, or he just get caught, you think?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say if he just got caught, because he, you know what I'm saying, he got, you know, this kid just took him out. It was quick. But yeah, it was like, you know what I'm saying, again, not to turn it into a boxing, but it was like Tyson's, like he was scared of, it might have been too big for him. All the hype, you know what I'm saying, you're fighting a legend, you know what I'm saying, that came up to your weight, And like you said, he already has the history of kind of doing that. So, I mean, yeah, it might have been overwhelming. I could understand, you know what I'm saying, him feeling that way. But, yeah, this kid didn't give him much of a chance. Like you said, he got off a lucky hit by accident, kind of, sort of. You know what I'm saying? So, but, I mean, I can understand it. Like I said, I'm not getting in that octagon. So I can understand, you know what I'm saying, to get in there with somebody, you know what I'm saying, just like he's the name that I know in MMA, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I haven't paid that much attention in the last, you know what I'm saying, 10, 20 years, to be quite honest. But that's a name I knew, you know what I'm saying? And I saw a couple fights just because I had to, because it was like, yo, I got to see what all this is about. And yeah, you know what I'm saying, he looked a little on the, you know what I'm saying? He had some love handles and shit. He looked a little on the putty side. I hate to say that about, you know what I'm saying, John, if you're listening, Mr. Bones Jones.
Hey, he's not Bones anymore. Hey, they got to call him Meaty Bones, because, I mean, he ain't Bones no more.
Turkey leg Jones, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got him quick, man. But it's going to be interesting to see, man. Like I said, you already mentioned his possible next opponent, so I'm anxious to see what happens with that. You know,
yeah, it's lined up. It's Stipe Miocic, who is what many people consider the GOAT of the heavyweight division. So he is. It's lined up. It looks like we're getting that fight in July. Jones versus Stipe, and Jones wants Stipe. He wants Jones. Jones, to his credit, wants to be the greatest fighter all time. Doesn't care about anything else. Right. Well, hey, you guys call this guy the GOAT of the heavyweight. Well, now I'm going to try to take out the GOAT. This is the biggest fight. It'll be the biggest fight the UFC can make in possibly the UFC history. I firmly believe that. Now, if he beats Stipe and then they bring in Francis Ngannou, who is the former heavyweight champion who knocked out Stipe 2 years ago, that would even be a bigger fight, but Francis is no longer in the company. He's trying to fight Deontay Wilder, one of these, or Tyson Fury. So in a boxing match. But if he wins, if he even looks good in those boxing matches or doesn't win, and Jon Jones is still the heavyweight champ, I don't care what Dana said. Francis will never be in the UFC ever again. Well, Dana White also said one time there'd never be women. So here we are. Dana's a businessman. It's all about money. If you can go make the money, go make it. So that would be the biggest fight. But July will be the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and I believe the biggest fight in UFC history. It'll make the most money possible.
Well, you made that hot take last week? You know what I'm saying? So, or several days ago, whatever you did your show, last time we spoke. You said it could be, you know, or would be the biggest card or the biggest match in UFC history. So, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't he want to fight the so-called GOAT of the heavyweight division? You know what I'm saying? Just similar to it all goes full circle. Similar to Aaron Rodgers possibly saying, yeah, let me go to the AFC where everybody's like, why would you want to deal and kick all their asses and go, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, when you're that great, that's what you want. You want to beat the best people. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, of course he's going to want to fight homeboy from the heavyweight division. Stipe, it is. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Of course he's going to want to fight him, and then hopefully that Francis guy comes back. And, you know what I'm saying? Dana can say whatever money's money, man. You know what I'm saying? The answer to 99% of the questions is money. So, you know what I'm saying? If there's enough money there, he's going to let him fight Jones. And now the thing that these guys got to worry about is if Jones, he's so great, if he dedicates himself to get in better shape now at that weight, then, you know what I'm saying?
He could hold the belt for a while.
Yeah, he can run that division just like he did the other one and just be the king on the top by himself.
Yeah. Speaking of king, I mean, there was a queen that got taken down, and Valentina Shevchenko got taken down in that co-main event by Alexa Grasso. You were raving about this fight from Saturday night when you were texting me and said that fight was amazing. It was a hell of a fight. Valentina was one of the best top one or two women in UFC history. A lot of, you could put that. And now you got I'm reading the comment from your son, and that threw me up. And then she loses to Alexa Grasso, and Alexa Grasso was plus 2,000, Johnny, and wins plus 2,000 sub. And then was the super. underdog, and she was able to tap her out. Didn't even really have it underneath the chin, was just squeezing her face.
Right. Yeah, she literally was just squeezing as hard as she can, just trying to choke her until she submitted. No, it was an awesome fight. Like you said, I got into it with a minute into the first round, so I saw the majority of that fight, and it was just the way the momentum just shifted there at the end. I mean, you could see where the champ was just standing there, wanting to at first go toe to toe with her, and the Grasso girl was getting some licks in, but then you know what I'm saying, the champ, what is it?
Valentina Chevy,
Yep, Chevy. You know what I'm saying? She was trying to just get her to the ground as quickly as she could. And homegirl was like trying like desperately to not be on the ground. You know what I'm saying? She was just trying to keep her distance. And it was just a matter of the Chevy girl went for that one kick or elbow or whatever and just gave her back. And that Grasso chick just jumped on her, like wasted no time getting her locked into a move, and then just squeezed until homegirl tapped out, because she was locked on, bro. She was not gonna let go of that opportunity, man. But that's just how quick a fight could turn like that. Because I think the champ was pretty much, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the Grasso, like I said, was getting some stuff in, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying, the champ was representing there, but she made the one bad move. And Grasso, you know what I'm saying? Grasso locked her up, man. That was really cool. It was a lot of fun to watch that fight, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was those two fights concluded a pretty good night of cards. I went 3-2 on the on my picks on the main card. Grasso lost, which I had Chevy winning, so that they're going to run that right back. I told you Shavkat Rakhmonov would beat Jeff Neal. That was a hell of a fight, fun fight. Shavkat won. I told you Bo Nickel was an absolute stud. He'd made quick work of Jamie Pickett, and it was a good fight, but my guy Jalen Turner lost to Matisse Gamrot, which was a hell of a fight. But before we get out of here, Johnny, man, we'll what you got coming up on about 80 of your shows this week?
Well, tomorrow I got a special episode of the Johnny Cruz Show on the Let's Talk Sports Network, of course. Special guest Jonathan Grisham is going to be up on there. So I'm excited to talk to him about, of course, about some baseball and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? The Johnny Cruz Show is more than just sports. So I get to ask him a bunch of questions and get some info and get some knowledge of who he is as a person and what he's into besides baseball. So I'm looking forward to that. Then I should have a show on Saturday, a special show. Scott Cope announced it the other day, but he's having a special Scott Cope show on Saturday with, you know what I'm saying, special guest Dan Harris himself. The super producer is going to be the guest on Scott's show. So we're running that on Saturday at 5 p.m. And then I'll be back on noon on Sunday. I'll be with my boy Dan. Me and Dan will be doing a show on Sunday at noon Eastern time. So yes, I've got a full slate of shows, and that's not even talking about Monday of next week and stuff.
So you can catch all that right here on the Johnny Cruz Network. I mean, geez.
Shout out to John. He's talking about this picture right here he gave me for my birthday.
Hey,
it's Derek Jeter when he, you know what I'm saying, the new hit king, and then up in the corner is Lou Gehrig up next to Jeter's face there. So yeah, shout out to my son Jonathan for a nice birthday present. I appreciate it.
Nice. So Sunday I'll be back with the Rec Room podcast. They're going to be the guests. We'll be talking all things with them, and just kind of go from there. So I'll be back then. Hey, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, be a friend, tell a friend. I'm going to hit that outro. We're going to get out of here. It's been a good show. Next week we're going to do our whole March Madness bracket. Talk about those. Maybe we'll get a guest to come on, talk a little, give me and Johnny drops knowledge for our March Madness bracket as we fill it out. We'll go over March Madness. So big March Madness bracket. The tournaments are playing out today and this weekend. So, before we get out of here, you're a Big East. You grew up in New York, Big East guy. No Jim Boeheim for Syracuse. I want to get your thoughts there before we get out of here.
Yeah, that's surprising. You know what I'm saying? Because he is
47 years, Johnny. He's been a head coach at Jim Boeheim.
Right. He is he is Syracuse basketball. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be weird. But I mean, there's a lot. You know what I'm saying? No more Coach K in Duke. You know what I'm saying? Roy Williams, it's just been a year or whatever. So a lot of the, older coaches are starting to step aside, but they've left their mark on the game. So you know what I'm saying? You can't take away, except they actually did take away some wins from him.
Yeah.
But so you can't take away what he's accomplished or whatever. He's one of the greatest coaches ever. So much respect to that, to him, of course. But no, looking forward to next week's show, man. I haven't filled out a bracket in a minute. I mean, I follow March Madness every year, of course, but I haven't really done a bracket with a job or nothing like that or whatever. So I'm gonna have some fun filling this one out.
Yeah, we'll fill it out. We'll fill it out. We live on air, and I think to kind of go with Jim Boeheim, 5 trips to the NCAA, got the one title with Carmelo in what was that, 03, 04-ish. I mean, one of the best.
Yeah, 03.
Yeah, one of the best, greatest coaches of all time. That I always gave Syracuse every time they were in the tournament, at least to the Sweet 16. That 2-3 zone was always ridiculous. They always brought it. They had some really good teams, made some really good runs through a lot of years. You mentioned, Johnny, those are all the coaches of my childhood and youth, like Jim Boeheim, Roy Williams, Coach K, like, John Calipari's kind of reaching the tail end,
he is.
All those have been there.
See it, I'm drawing a blank right now, but homeboy that was in Connecticut forever.
Oh, Roy, Jim Calhoun. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So a lot of the older coaches are, they're getting close to retiring and starting to retire. So it's time for this new breed of younger coach to come in, and it's probably what's best for this whole one and done, college basketball that we got going is having younger coaches or whatever it's all about getting the guys to come to your squad, and whether or not you can keep them for a couple years, So will the more experienced seasoned teams like a UCLA win the title, or will it be a bunch of freshmen, on the team all put together just this first year?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
And I want to get your thoughts too. Georgetown fires Patrick Ewing. I was excited when Pat got the head coaching job to return back to Georgetown. I mean, Georgetown, we both kind of grew up with you were a little bit older than me, so you caught the whole Georgetown run. Georgetown had some great years when I was growing up. Big John, there was John Thompson III. And now that program, once that Pride program has, it's almost dead. Like it's there. They haven't won. They can't recruit. They
haven't done nothing since AI, bro. To be completely honest, seriously. They've had some good teams.
Roy Hibbert and a couple of those guys. Yeah.
Right. But nothing that you was not like back in the day when you had, like you said, Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning. You had all those guys like that. I mean, yeah, that was Georgetown with Big John with the towel over his shoulder. It's just they can't recruit. Say if you can't get the best players to come to your team, even if it's for one season, then it's hard to win unless you're going to get some kids that are going to stay there for 3-4 years and build, build it like that. But that doesn't happen that often.
Well, when it does, you got to make the runs deep, right? Like when they're all juniors and seniors, you got to make that run then, and they just didn't do it. Pat Ewing had been an assistant for a long time at a lot of different places in the NBA, and some people were surprised he never got an NBA coaching job. And then for him to come back home to Georgetown, and you're hoping that he can turn this program back around to what it was when he was there. And it just didn't work out. I mean, sad thoughts there. But I just wanted to get your thoughts before I forgot.
Yeah, man, I feel bad for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was a good story, and I was happy for him. I agree with you as far as he never got an NBA job, and I thought he might get one there. So it was just a great story, him going back to Georgetown, and you said he wasn't able to make it happen. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Georgetown is hard, bro. Like I said, since AI – you say they've had a couple of teams BI, but that's it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And we'll see what Syracuse can do now without Jimmy Boeheim. They've really struggled to me the last 2 or 3 years since going to the ACC and and not being the Big East. But we'll see what happens there. Hey, best of luck to Jim Boeheim. He can do whatever he wants now.
Absolutely.
50, they said 50 some odd years of being at Syracuse altogether, and then 47 as head coach, one of the longest tenured place coach in basketball history. So
yeah, that's my whole life, bro. 47 years, bro. I just turned 47, bro. That's how long he's been coaching. Yeah, I think it's time to just, you know what I'm saying?
Whole life.
Hang him up, go play some golf, and just chill with the fam there, Jim. You be straight.
Well, we're going to go chill with the fam right now, Johnny.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're going to hit that outro. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. We'll see you back on Sunday. Catch out all the 80,000 Johnny Cruz shows as well. Like, subscribe, share, hit that bell. You all know what to do. See y'all.